today we're going to be going through the kids decoupage kit, and this one is the mini sign kit. So we're going to be using these blocks to make a mini sign, and your kit should have 2 blocks in it. And so we are going to put one of those aside. We're going to use 1 block right now, and then you should have the 2 napkins of your choice. I'm going to use the We Love Because He First Loved Us for the one today, and then we can put this one aside. You'll also have 8 stickers here to either use on this project or use on something else that you would like. You'll have your little package of Mod Podge, and you'll have your brush. And then you'll also have a few other little fun stuff in there as well, and that always changes. So we're going to go ahead and put the box aside. And the first thing that we're going to want to do is we are going to want to grab a few things around the house. So first of all, some scissors. And then you're also going to want a cup of water. We'll use this to clean off our brush as needed. And today I'm going to be using a sanding block for the edges. If you do not have a sanding block, then even a nail file would do. So if you ask your mom for a nail file, that will work as well. And then there's a couple other ways we can do it if you don't have either of those. We'll also want a tissue paper, or this is just a piece of paper towel to dry off our brush, and then either a Ziploc bag or some saran wrap. And I'll show you what we're going to do with this when we get to that part. But the first thing that we're going to want to do is figure out the spacing of our design. So we have the block, and what I'm going to do is just figure out how I want the design on the block. So you can kind of hold it up and see with the light, like what parts go through, so you can kind of get an idea of where you want it. But to make it a little bit easier, so we're not working with this whole piece of paper, I'm actually just going to cut out on the lines right here, and so I'm only working with that 1 square. So we'll just cut this piece out, and then we'll take this piece and just put it aside. And then now we have a smaller piece that we can work with. And then on your block, you should have 2 sides that are kind of smooth, and then one side where it's a little bit more rough, and that's where the actual board was cut. And so you can decide if you want the grain of the wood to go this way or if you want the grain of the wood to go this way. I generally try and pick one of the sides that is smooth to be the top or the bottom, so that the sign stands and we don't have it falling over. But that's totally up to you. And so this particular design does have like a little outline I can follow around. So I can make it so the outline goes all the way to one side or all the way up in the corner. But I think what I'm going to do today is just try and get it as centered as I can. And right now I'm just kind of getting an idea of where I want it. And one thing you can do before you actually end up what we call edging the napkin is you can get it how you want it on there, and then you can actually kind of take your finger and just kind of rub, and then that's going to give you, we're not trying to push through or anything, we're just trying to make a little fold on where that's going to be. And so I can already see I'm a little crooked on the bottom, so I'm going to fix that. So I'm just going to, again, I'm just going to rub along the bottom here, and I'm just trying to make a little edge. So I can see in this design that this whole design is just a little bit off. So I'm gonna have to just kind of play with it to get it where I want. And I think that's gonna be it. All right, so I'm going to just go along the edge here with my finger, and I'm just kind of making a little crease, and I'll show you how that's going to help us here in just a minute. Okay, so I've got my little crease in there. You can kind of see it's just a little bent. And then we're only going to be working with the top layer of the napkin. So for that, I have got to separate these plies. So this napkin is a 3-ply napkin. So we only want the very top layer. And I always say when decoupaging, I honestly think this is the hardest part. It's just getting the layers separated. You might be able to get it right off the bat, and if you are super lucky, but me, it generally takes me a couple times. So So there we go. I got the very top layer and that's leaving 2 layers here. So I'm gonna gently just peel it off. Just separating it like a piece of Velveeta cheese. Alrighty. And so now, because I had my little folds in there, I kind of know how I want it to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it upside down, and next I'm gonna get my Mod Podge. So you have your little pieces here. You're gonna wanna open one of these up, just one of them. And then I'm just gonna use a little bigger jar here. And we just want a little bit on our brush, okay? We don't need a ton. And we're gonna go right down the center in a thin layer. And that little bit that you have on your brush is perfectly enough to get it started. Okay, so then we're gonna put our design on there and try and line up our little folds that we had before. And we're not even pushing it down yet. We're just kind of getting it where we want. And if you get it where you want, then you just want to lightly push in the center, just lightly like a feather, okay? We're only going to do it light first, and then I'll show you what we're going to do after that. So once you have it kind of just tacked down there, we're going to add a little bit more of our Mod Podge. Again, just light coats, just pull it back until where it's not really stuck, or where it starts, you can't really pull it back, or you might pull the paper. And do your coat, and again, from the center out, we're just gonna lightly press out. We're gonna rotate it. Make sure we go all the way to the corners, and we're doing the same side. So see, it doesn't wanna come up here. I'm doing very, very gentle. This is tissue and it's paper, so we have to be very gentle. And we're gonna do our next little coat here. Again, just a little bit. And if you need to do a smaller area at a time, that's totally fine, because you don't want it to dry on you in between, then it won't stick. All right, so we got that out. And then I just want to make sure I have my corners. The corners tacked down. So I'm just going to go through and just make sure that my corners do have the glue on them. That's all this Mod Podge is, it's just glue. All right. So I have that all tacked down. Now we're gonna take our saran wrap or our plastic wrap, and we're just gonna put it right over the top. And then we're going to hold it down in the middle, and we're gonna work pushing out from the center out. And what this is going to do is this is gonna smooth all of the wrinkles out of your design without tearing the napkin. So you wanna hold the saran wrap right in the middle so it can't move, and then we're just using that second layer on top. And then what we do is we peel it off like that, and then we are done with attaching it. All right, so here is what it look like. So we've got nice, no bubbles in there. It looks really nice and smooth. That is what we want. So after that dries, and you do want to let this dry, because I'm doing the tutorial today and I'm using a super light coat, I am going to skip the drying right now, but make sure you let it dry a little bit, because we don't want you to accidentally tear it after you've got it on there. So the next thing that we're going to do, there's a couple of ways to do this. So there's the water method. So the water method, you want to clean your toothbrush, clean your paintbrush that you have, and stick it in the water. You just want a little bit of water, and you're just gonna go along the edge here, just like so. Just follow along the edge, and then you're gonna just tear it. See how that just tears? And that gives us a nice, this is called a decoupage edge. And then you can just go with your finger and push that down. And then you'll see, you can go over it if it starts to lift up with a little decoupage, but you'll have like a little torn edge. So if you like a little torn edge, that's one way that you can edge it. There's another way that you can edge it if you ask for help for your parents, and that is with a lighter. So I'm not going to demonstrate it now because I don't want you doing it without your parents, but you can take a lighter and probably take this outside with an adult and just light a corner of the edge, and it will burn all the way up to the edge of the design. It won't burn your design, it will burn a little bit around the edge, so you'll get like that burned look, but that's another way that you can do the edge. And then the third way will be with the sanding block, which is what I'm going to do on mine. So with that, I'm just gonna hold it so the design is up, and I'm just gonna take my sanding block or my fingernail file, and I'm just gonna pull it down like that, and it's gonna give me a nice edge. Come comes right off like that. And then since I didn't do the water edge on all of it, I'm just gonna go through and clean up that side so it matches. And again, I'm just gonna take the flat edge and just go down. You want to go, don't go back and forth or you might lift up your design. You just want to go down and then bring it up and then go down. Like that. And it just comes right off. Nice, neat, pretty. Just like so. And then I did get a little piece there. There we go. So, just like that. So you can see, this is my little design. You can use this as a sign. You could do another one on the back if you want. You could give this as a gift and write a message to your mom or grandma, whoever on the back. Or you can just display it in your room or anywhere else. So that's how easy it is to make one of our mini decoupage signs. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure we have other craft kits available for kids on the website. We have a pennant kit, we have a candle kit, and lots of other designs that you can use if you love this project. And we always like to remind you, if you do share on social, to tag at Christian Craft Paper so that we can feature your designs and creations with our Christian crafting community. Thanks again for watching and happy crafting!